We're standing in front of a reproduction of the ship of the great buccaneer Jean-Baptiste de Lafitte de la Poisson de Poisson, who was a French privateer contracted by the Spanish to raid English shipping throughout the Bahamas. A dangerous man and one who brooked no folly.
A beautiful bunch, a ripe banana.
Which foundered here after a pitched battle with the English Captain Morgan, who, well, he was famous for distracting his enemies with by catapulting kegs of rum, and Half Moon Key was settled by those drunken sailors that survived the apocalypse. Roosters were actually introduced to this island as part of like a Spanish plan to introduce roosters, pigs, and rats to all of the atolls and islands of the world. The breeding and cultivating of specialty artisanal rat breeds is, as you know, one of the great engines of Spanish culture. The rat population and rooster populations are compatible because roosters are like remoras. They attach themselves to rat populations and feed off of the ticks and whatnot. The island had been abandoned by humans, but there were 6-foot-tall roosters and 5-foot-long spotted rats all over. Yeah, you had some of that in the buffet. Oh, well, let's go to the remains of the old town. During the period of the Reformation and the Counter-Reformation, there was a battle waged between the Catholics and Protestants for ownership of the territory. But this church was built by the great Czechoslovak patriot Jan Hus.
So when was this? When was this church built?
The original church was built in 1644. You wouldn't think that the Czechoslovak people would have had a Caribbean footprint because, of course, it's a landlocked country. But they did have a navy. It was a river navy. And at a certain point, some of those riverboats got washed into the Baltic Sea. This is the old town here, known colloquially as Pirates Cove. Although this is the one part of the island that was never occupied by pirates, so it's a little bit of a misnomer. One of the first places in the Caribbean where you could buy duty-free watches, all the way back at the very beginning of clockmaking, when clocks were originally reduced to wrist size. Of course, they were about as big as a pie plate. Behind us here is the Neil Armstrong Bar, which commemorates America's first man in space, Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong is a hero to all the Caribbean people.
Really?
Because
I thought he was an undersea man.
Well, Neil Armstrong actually started as a deep sea diver.
Did he really?
Yeah.